Hey guys, it's me, Sujoy, and today I'm back with another video. So, today I'm going to be talking about how to live in Vietnam long term as an expat. Um, so, if you don't know a bit about me, I'm coming from India and I've been living here in Vietnam for over 5 years now, excluding the pandemic, because 2 years I was out of the country. So it's been 5 years now. I've been living here in Vietnam, and I decided to make this video because I just want to help you guys. Like if you really want to live long term here in Vietnam, and irrespective of what kind of challenges you're facing right now, maybe you don't have a job, or maybe you are having some financial constraints, or irrespective of your visa situation right now, because currently you're just getting the 30 days touristy visa, and then you have to exit Vietnam and then come back. But I think this is going to be rectified very shortly, I presume sometime this month, or beginning of next month. The Vietnam government is going to initiate the 90 is going to come back with the 90-day visa, which is going to be really helpful for all you expats and for everyone. Uh, you know, if you don't have a work permit, let me just grab some ginger tea. So I'm going to talk about my personal experience, how I actually survived in Vietnam for 5 years. So like I came to Vietnam, I got a teaching job, and something interesting is that I was never on any work permit, or I did some business visas before. This was pre-pandemic, so sometimes I would take the 6 months multiple entry business visa, which is very easy to get. I believe that time, you didn't require any kind of sponsorship or something like that. But like, um, how you can actually maintain your. I mean, that's how I actually maintained myself pre-COVID. I used to teach English for 3.5 years. I've taught public schools. I've taught a couple of language centers. So like a busy teacher life, and of course at the same time, sometimes I would go back to my home country, to India. I mean, I've even lived in Vietnam for a year at a stretch, without going back to my home country. And it's kind of challenging sometimes because I'm from India. I like home cooked Indian food, because what you get in these Indian restaurants out here in Southeast Asia, I mean, it's all oily and greasy food and very expensive. It's not authentic Indian food, like the home food which my mom used to cook. I mean, sadly, my mom passed away a year back. She was sick. My dad is in the U.S. right now for his green card. And I have an elder brother, and he's married, and they're all U.S. citizens, been living there for 20 years in New Jersey. I was in U.S. before for my graduation. But I have been, I still, like, for I still can survive without eating Indian food for a year at a stretch. I love Vietnamese food. It's very healthy, it's very affordable. I mean, the reason how the way I did it was, I try to avoid, going to these fancy expat joints a lot here in Ho Chi Minh, because if you're going to go around to these fancy expat joints, you're going to keep on blowing up a lot of money. Or even if you're going to go to Bui Bien Street, you're going to keep on blowing up a lot of money. So the tip over here is, try to live a very normal lifestyle over here. You know, don't have this in your mindset that okay, I'm just going to live like an expat lifestyle. I cannot. I'm going to only order McDonald's, Burger King. I don't want to try local food or something, because anything, if anything, like you're going to try these fast food meals, pizzas and all that. It's going to be, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to burn your pocket. So these are like catered for Westerners. I mean, even if you're a Westerner and if you want to live in Vietnam long term, so you got to start living very simply. Like I don't mind going to a very local comtam shop, which is like kind of very crowded, and just sit there and for I think for 50,000 Vietnam dong, you can have a very good com tam meal. The rice and steaks and whatever, it's quite filling. Or maybe just go to, I stay at the countryside, so I can just go to my nearest coffee shop, just pay some 12,000 Vietnam dong and just have a very nice Vietnamese Americano coffee, which is called as Cafe Da. I mean, you can enjoy the view, the lifestyle. I mean, predominantly, I would be always, I can go to the banh mi lady, just buy some cheap baguettes, you know, and so I never went out to these expensive malls, like Vincom Mall and all that, and did a lot of fine and dine and eating all the time because it's going to burn up your pocket. And presently, like there's a lot of inflation happening in Ho Chi Minh. Like the accommodation prices have gone up the roof. And like I said in one of my previous videos, it would be a good idea for you to rent a full home down the countryside. You can even check out Long An, which is like 40 minutes 45 minutes drive to Ho Chi Minh City. If you have the if you love nature, and if you are like, if you don't have so much of objections in your mind, I think it would be a good option for you to rent at the countryside. Like I said, I think for 4 million, 4 or 5 million, you can rent a full home. And I mean, you can have a good lifestyle. You don't need to spend a lot of money. And like I said, I don't stay downtown Ho Chi Minh. So like whenever I go over there, yeah, it's a bit expensive for me now because you land up spending a lot of money. But staying in the countryside is better. You can live long term. You can make a number of trips. If you're on your 30-day tourist visa. I mean, you can hop on a bus. You can go to Cambodia, take that 7 hours drive, and just spend, like what I did. I mean, I personally cannot go to Cambodia and just come back the same day to Vietnam, because that's quite tiring. So, I always said to myself, if I'm fucking paying $35 for the Cambodian visa, I might as well stay there for 2 days or for 3 days, enjoy the city, hang around a bit, chill out a bit, try to hook up with some ladies over there, and have some good time, and then just take the bus and come back to Vietnam with the visa. You can do that, or if you're going to stay in Cambodia, I think 3 days is more than enough. I mean, I've even stayed there for a week, but you got to be very careful over there because of the security, the with the money, with the dollars and everything. So I would suggest just go there for 3 days or 4 days tops, and just come back. So like when you come back to Vietnam, it's like you feel quite, you're coming to a different environment. You feel kind of energized, recharged. Or you can just book a ticket with AirAsia or Vietjet and just go to Thailand, go to Bangkok. Um, just stay there for a week, and just once your Vietnam visa comes, just come back to Vietnam. You'll feel quite better. I mean, so these are like my personal tips, how I'm able to prolong my stay here in Vietnam and how I managed to do that. I mean, majority of it, I would say, helped me like pre-COVID. When you had those relaxed visas. I remember, 3 months tourist visa, 3 months visa, and you can even get the 6 months business visa. It was not very strict back then. And that was one of the primary reasons why I was able to stick around in Vietnam, and complete up those years pre-COVID. But it's still possible at this current stage. So it all. I mean, I really hope that they come back with the 90-day visa, and also with the 6 months visa, because it'll be very helpful for all of you expats. And of course, I think the best option also would be to best option also would be to to fend for employment here in Vietnam, because like if you are a native if you're a native person, if you're coming from a native country, it'll be easier for you to get an English teaching job, and you can get the work permit, and it's going to definitely help you to stay in Vietnam long term. I believe if you sign a contract with the companies over here, they'll offer you like a 2 year stay, if I'm right. um, you know um, I even, like when I went to Hanoi, I was teaching there, with the school, and I won't name them, but I came on a business visa. This was a couple of months back, and it was a 3 months single entry business visa. I mean, I just had to pay some 800,000 Vietnam dong to the officer, and just had to sit there for half an hour at the Hanoi airport, and then I just got my visa done. So yeah, I mean, definitely number one would be, if you can get a work permit here in Vietnam, you can definitely stay here long term. Um, I mean, it's I don't think you have the the digital nomad visa, or like the 5 year visa, or like Thailand has got many different options, but they are very expensive. But I really do see a huge potential over here for Vietnam, if they come up with these different formats of visa at a very affordable price. Then then I can really see a lot of tourists, transitioning from Thailand and coming to Vietnam. That's a very big opportunity if if the Vietnam government would seriously like to look into this, providing different types of visas with relaxed rules, relaxed requirements, and half the cost what expats need to pay there in Thailand. I mean, I've been to Bangkok many times. Yeah, I mean, and the hype and all that is there, but honestly speaking, it's still very expensive. It burns my pocket a lot. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say all Thai people are friendly. They are kind of rude also, and but and the environment is. I mean, the weather is so hot. So there is a huge opportunity over here for Vietnam for boosting up the tourism sector, and also for coming up with like digital nomad visas, long term visas and all that. Half the cost which expats need to pay in Thailand, and with more relaxed rules, because at the end of the day, money talks. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So the work permit, or you can just or the current situation, you can just complete up 30 days, do some freelance work, get in touch with some companies over here. So say, like, for example, if you're good in website designing, or if you're in content marketing, you can network with a lot of global clients. I mean, the internet connection right now in Vietnam is really good. If you want to have, like, if you want to have that kind of a laptop lifestyle, You can do freelance work. You can even promote your freelance services at these freelancing sites. The best option for me, for you guys, also would be to look into affiliate marketing, because that's where I also make I make stable, decent income. So like I'm an internet marketer. I do a lot of content marketing, and so I also make a lot of income with that. So primarily that's the reason, because I mean, if you're not a white expat, and if you're not coming from a native country, getting an English teaching job, I don't think is going to be very easy for you. But if you have a lot of experience in the corporate world, you may like to, check up, check up the corporate environment over here in Vietnam. So you can have a profile over here with Vietnam Works, and there are many companies every day they are looking for hiring expats. What I mean, like you can have salaries from $1,000 to $2,000 and up. So it all depends on your qualification. So like I said, if you get the work permit, you can stay long term over here in Vietnam. The other option would be, like, if you're solo, if you're a single person, or if you're a divorced person, and in your passport you don't have your ex-wife's name mentioned and all that. I would, you can even try to find a very suitable Vietnamese woman, and you can date her for a couple of months, and then maybe you may like to get engaged to her, or you may like to marry her. And that would be, I think, one of the easiest ways for you to get that TR TR TRV, if I'm right. Okay, the temporary resident visa. I've known. I mean, I've heard couple of expats. They fall in love with the Vietnamese woman. They marry her, and they are entitled to get the 5-year TRC, if I'm right. Yeah, TRC card, temporary residence card, and you can stay long term here in Vietnam, as long as you're legally married, and you maintain your marriage. So you can look into that option. So there are many ways you can stay long term here in Vietnam. Um, you know and I hope it's going to get a bit more easier down the line, when they're going to be reinstating, when they're going to come back with the 90-day visa and even the 6 months visa. So that's even going to make more sense. Yeah, so, like, you can have a digital marketing lifestyle here in Vietnam, or you can get an English teaching job over here, or you can work in the corporate environment. And of course, finally, if you're coming from your home country, and say, for example, if you're working in a company back home, and they're setting up they have an office over here in Vietnam. That's going to be also great for you, because they're going to take care of your accommodation, housing. Most of the expats, who live in these prime locations in Ho Chi Minh City, they're actually, they're sponsored by their companies back home. So they live a good lifestyle. They can they can spend a lot of money, hang out, and just have a good lifestyle. So you can do that. So there are different variations you can do that. So that's how I was able to maintain myself here in Vietnam for 5 years. I love Vietnam. Yes, there are a lot of challenges which I face as a non-white person, but I mean, that would be the best option for you. Or just go back to your home country after 6 months, or after a year. Just spend your time there for a month or two, and then just come back to Vietnam. So you keep a balance. Because honestly speaking, I find it a bit difficult if I'm going to stay in Vietnam for 6 months at a stretch, because of the environment. So I need to get out and get exposed to a different environment, recharge up my battery, and then fly back to Vietnam, or just hop on that bus and come back or whatever. So yeah, you can do all this. So I just published a guidebook on how you can actually maximize your profits. It's a free download. So I'm going to leave that link down in the description. So if you're looking to if you're looking to maximize your investments, or if you're looking for some opportunities, to increase your income so that you can have a sustainable lifestyle here in Vietnam and in other parts of Southeast Asia, make sure to grab a copy of my book. I just want to help you guys out. I generally make videos out of my personal experience. So, with that being said, you guys have a great day. This was me, Sujoy. Peace out.